All right, we're on 5.6 day 2. Oh no, it's called more complicated absolute value inequalities. It's not really true. These aren't that much worse, just one extra step. The only new thing today from yesterday is we need to isolate first. Then everything else is the same. Isolate first. So you know how to do that already. And then remember, if it's a less than or a less than or equal to, it's a sandwich. Make a sandwich. If it's a greater than or greater than or equal to, we set up the or, two inequalities. And then step 4, solve, and step 5, graph. Okay, so nothing too different. You guys know how to do all of this. It's just putting it all together. So just relax, take your time. So we already did this. If it's less than, it's a sandwich. If it's greater than, it's an or. All right, let's try one of each. Okay, so before you do anything, you have to isolate. Do you guys remember how we isolated? We got to get this alone. So draw the wall. You're going to add 5, and we get 3. Absolute value of 2x minus 7 is less than 9. Well, we're not isolated yet. We got to divide by 3, and then we are. So we got absolute value 2x minus 7 is less than 3. Okay, now that we're isolated, we're going to see if it's an and or an or. And if you look at our isolated equation, always look at the new isolated one. It is a less than, so we're going to make a less than sandwich. So we're going to make a sandwich between 3 and negative 3. Okay, so we got negative 3 on the left, positive 3 on the right, 2x minus 7 in the middle with a less than sandwich. And then we need to solve. Oh, we don't have to graph. Cool, just solve. All right, so to solve a sandwich, we draw a double wall, and we got to try to isolate the x in the middle. So we're going to add 7 to the middle, the left, and the right. See, nothing new. We just had to isolate first. So if you do that, we get 4 is less than 2x is less than 10. And then to officially isolate, divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. And there's your answer. X is a sandwich between 2 and 5. And you could graph that if you wanted. Okay, nothing crazy. All right, let's look at this one. Before you do anything, you have to isolate. So go ahead and start working on isolating. So if we want to isolate the absolute value, we have to draw the wall, start with minus 5, minus 5. We get negative 3, absolute value of 2x minus 7 is less than or equal to negative 9. And we're not isolated yet. We got to divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. Now, here's where people are going to screw this one up. When you divide by a negative, what do you have to do? Flip the symbol. So its absolute value 2x minus 7 is greater than or equal to 3. And this is what we're going to base the rest of our problem on. So I tricked you guys. You thought it was going to be another less than sandwich, but when you divide it by a negative, we flipped it, and it is now a greater. So we're doing an or on this one. Okay, so how do we set up the or? The or, we have to make 2. One of them is the same. 2x minus 7 is greater than or equal to 3. And one of them is negative 3, but with the symbol flipped. So 2x minus 7 is less than or equal to negative 3. That's how we do the or. Is everyone okay with that? Okay, and then draw a double wall and solve both. So if we add 7, we get 2x is greater than or equal to 10. Divide by 2, x is greater than or equal to 5. Or same thing. Add 7, we get 2x is greater than or equal to 4. Divide by 2, we get x is less than or equal to 2. And that is your answer. And you could graph it if you want. Okay, those of you who feel good, you can stop here. If anybody would like, I'll do one more of each on the back page. All right, so if you're ready, if you're coming with us, go ahead and flip it, and we'll do, let's do 3 and 4. Okay, so isolate first. I would suggest if you're still watching to pause. Pause it and give it a shot, and then check your answer with mine. So number 3, don't do anything before you isolate. So in order to isolate, we need to add that 8. Add 8, add 8. We get absolute value 5x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 5. All right, we're isolated. Now that we're isolated, we look and see if it's an and or an or. And this is a greater. If it's a greater, it's an or. So to set up your or, we have 2. The first one is going to be as is. 5x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 5. But the other one, we need to make negative 5 and switch the symbol. 5x minus 2 is less than or equal to negative 5. And then we draw our wall and solve. Now this one's not going to be pretty. If you draw the wall and add 2, we get 5x is greater than or equal to 7. And then divide by 5, x is greater than or equal to 7/5. Okay, not the cutest answer, but that's okay. And then over here, same thing. Add 2, we get 5x is less than or equal to negative 3. Divide by 5, x is less than or equal to negative 3/5. And this is an or. And I'm not going to graph this one because these are not the nicest to graph. But that's the answer. Okay, and then if you want, again, stop at any time. Let's do one more, number 4. So isolate first. To isolate first, we need to add 14 to both sides. And we get 6 times absolute value of 2x plus 9 is less than or equal to 30. And we're not isolated yet. We got to divide by 6, divide by 6. All right, now we're isolated. Absolute value of 2x plus 9 is less than or equal to 5. So everything comes from here now. Okay, is it an and or an or? And you tell by looking at the symbol, it's a less than sandwich. So we're going to make a sandwich, and we're going to sandwich this between 5 and negative 5. So we got a negative 5 and a positive 5, and a 2x plus 9 sandwiched in the middle with less than or equal to's. And then you guys are going to solve the sandwich. So to solve the sandwich, it's the double wall. Try to get x alone in the middle. So minus 9, minus 9, minus 9 from every piece. You get negative 14 less than or equal to 2x less than or equal to negative 4. And then to get x totally alone, divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. And let's see what we got. Negative 7 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to negative 2. So that's the answer. X is sandwiched between negative 7 and negative 2. And I'll graph this one. Closed circle at negative 7, closed circle at negative 2, and the sandwich is inside. All right, great job, guys. We'll practice this tomorrow.